up, dude? You playing some Guild Ticket right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You do know that you could get this game on the computer and it just runs better, right?
I prefer console.
Nah,
I have the big TV and everything.
nah, I think PC is subjectively better, you know? You got better frame rate, you can run monotone better, like a lot of...
Way more expensive.
Yeah, but you can get a laptop, you know?
A laptop with one.
Yeah, but you can take it on the go, you know? You can't take this on the go, right? So...
I mean, you can play it in the cover like a living room.
Yeah, but you know what? If you want to play when you're outside, you know?
No.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. Actually, no. Listen, bro. You're not listening to me. Everything else was built up around it. I built the team around type 4.
Yes. The classic debate of console versus video games. If you have ever been a gamer at any point in your life, or had the misfortune of interacting with one, you might have heard of this serious debate before. Is it better to play video games on a console or PC? What's the difference? Which one should I choose? Which one's going to do my taxes? Taxes season is coming up after all. Those are the questions of which I intend to answer today. Let's start by defining the difference between both. This is a console. This is a PC. If you look at them mechanically, they are virtually the same thing. Consoles are computers designed specifically for gaming, while PCs are usually designed to carry a multitude of tasks, which may or may not include gaming. Both have their own benefits and problems, so to compare the two, we'll look at them both individually and compare price, performance, accessibility, and library. Before we get started, we need to clarify some terms. Performance means how well the hardware runs each game, accessibility means how easy it is for the average consumer to pick up and play games, and library means the games from which a user can play. Additionally, you'll need to be familiar with terms such as 4K and 1080p, which means the picture quality being produced, Hertz meaning how many times your computer refreshes the screen per second, and GPU meaning the computer power being pushed to render these games. Starting with consoles, there are multiple types made by multiple people. The big three console manufacturers are Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. There are consoles made to be played at home and consoles made to be played on the go, or consoles made for both. But for the sake of this argument, we'll take a look at modern consoles you could purchase in stores. Consoles come at a steep, consistent price. They have been slowly increasing over the last few months due to technical cost rising, but they usually stay the same price or lower throughout their lifespan. Xbox's Series X costs $649.99, Sony's PlayStation 5 costs $549.99, and Nintendo Switch's 2 cost $449.99. So let's say the average cost of a console is around $550. The Series X and PS5 have similar performance rates, with their hardwares being designed to handle 4K, 60 FPS, and 120Hz with powerful GPUs. The Switch 2 has similar specs, but its graphical capabilities are a bit less impressive since it was also designed to be used on the go. Accessibility for modern consoles is extremely simple and easy. Most consoles you just plug in and play, while some modern consoles require you to connect to the internet for updates or to make profiles, but still, it's nothing complicated. And finally, the library. Video games are published by what's called the publisher, and most of these publishers fall between two categories, first and third party. First party means that the game was most likely produced by the company that owns the console. Third party means that the game was most likely produced by someone outside of the big three gaming companies, and they put their games on multiple platforms. For example, take Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. This is a first party game because they were made by Nintendo and only intended to be played on the Wii U. Meanwhile, a game like Persona 3 Reload on the PS5 belongs to a third party because it was created by Atlus, a third party publisher that also puts their games on Switch, Xbox, and PC. Essentially, first party games mean that they're limited to a specific console, and third party games are shared by all of them. While all three consoles share a lot of third party games, some consoles have games exclusive to their own library. Over the past few years, Sony and Xbox have slowly been sharing their third party games on PC and Switch, but I'd say Nintendo's gaming library is by far the most impressive, as they have legendary games exclusive only to the Nintendo Switch, such as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Regardless of what console you get, you're sure to have an amazing library of games to play. Except for maybe Xbox. If I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of most of their first party games, and you could find them mostly anywhere else nowadays. Now let's take a look at the other side of the ring, PC gaming. The price for PC gaming is a very tricky question, as unlike gaming consoles where there's only one or two versions of a console with a set price, there is an unlimited amount of PCs available where the price varies on how much you want to spend. There are pre-built PCs where the PC is already built ahead of time, and non-pre-built PCs where obviously you have to build the PC yourself. also include gaming laptops here since technically they're like pre-built PCs that could be used for gaming, so I guess it counts. So depending on your budget, you could easily spend somewhere around $600, $700, even $1,000 or $3,000 alone on a PC. The price heavily varies, and the more money you spend, the better hardware you get. Some PCs are built to play heavy, fast-paced games, and some PCs are built to just run Minecraft. It all depends on the type of games you'd like to play. On top of buying the PC, you also have to buy a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, a microphone, or headphones, or a speaker, or a controller, or even a second monitor if you really want to boost your performance. You don't need to pay for all these things with a gaming laptop, but for a gaming PC, it's necessary. For my PC and setup, I spent around $1,500 for everything, which I think is a good enough fair price in today's standards for a PC that could do a lot of gaming and much, much more. Performance depends on the type of PC you want to buy, the parts you want to get, and how old the parts are. Many of these small details factor in on how well your PC performs, so performance is a tricky thing to rank here as well. While they could underperform compared to consoles, they could also heavily outperform them, so it really just depends, I guess. Accessibility, however, is something that is absolutely much harder on PC than on console. If you're building your own PC, you need to buy the specific parts you need, build the PC, install BIOS? Install computer software and updates, then download your preferred gaming store, and finally download the game from there. You can have someone do these steps for you, or skip half of them by buying a pre-built PC, or you could also just easily avoid all of this by buying a console instead, which is much easier to use. But PC gaming does have one huge benefit, and that's its gaming library. Steam is the biggest online gaming store, period. It contains over 120,000 games in that store alone, with a lot of them being third-party, high-quality games, and Steam is free to use. On top of that, you could also use alternative shops like the Epic Store or itch.io, which contains their own library of games, and also often contain high-quality games for free. With PC gaming, you can play games with your keyboard, your controller, or however you like. PC gaming also includes a modding community where fans can mod and change certain aspects of the game to sometimes include more content. This is all without mentioning how PC gaming can be used for things outside of PC gaming, like doing homework or drawing anime or editing YouTube videos. Really, the only thing missing from PC gaming is first-party games. Like I said before, Sony and Xbox have been putting more first-party games on Steam, but Nintendo won't budge, and I doubt they ever will. However, you could also play console games, both old and new, for free on PC through other means. Which, if you count that, then it increases PC gaming libraries tenfold. See, this is just a YouTube video, I swear I didn't emulate the game. So, we laid out the differences between consoles and PCs. Which one's better? Consoles are far cheaper than PCs, but PCs can pull more performance power than consoles. That's only if you choose the right specs and hardware, but you could also have similar problems with consoles having to decide between Sony, Xbox, or Nintendo. Their library is huge and easily accessible, but PC gaming also has an even bigger library with more indie games and a modding community you just can't find on console. But you also can find first-party exclusive games on PC. So in the end, which one's better? Which one's superior? Which one should I get? The honest answer to that, and the lame one as well, is that it really just depends. If you're planning on buying for a younger audience, consoles are much easier for them to use and understand. If you're buying for that tech-head son of yours that enjoys all types of digital media, a PC opens more possibilities in gaming and everyday life. In the end, it really just depends on the audience using it, what you plan to do with it, and if you prefer easy accessibility with more restrictions or less restrictions with harder accessibility. If you ask me personally, I prefer getting a gaming PC because you can use it for a lot more hobbies than just gaming. It costs a lot more, but I think it absolutely is worth it. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough to own both of them and I don't really have to think about this debate myself. However, sometimes I do wonder, what would have happened in an alternate universe where I grew up without either of these? Which one would I choose?
I made the right choice.